Hey guys, welcome to your final part. The secret word for this part is Pikachu, my favorite Pokemon, and yes, Mr. Sarley is a dork. But moving on past that, the answers to the first one, the answers to the first ones are 13, 11, 18, 20, 11, 2, 4, 8, 24. On the back we have the mean is 8, the median is 8, the mode is 4, and the range is 10. And then for number 11, I just wanted to see what you could come up with. So if you forgot order of operations, I'm using this video to review it. So please stick around. Alright, so notice that each of these problems is an expression. Remember, we learned that word last week. An expression is a line of math that has operations and numbers in it. And the thing about the operations is people need to know which one goes first. Because if you do them in different orders, like if I did it one way but you did it another way, we would get different answers. And we want each expression to have the same answer. So that's why mathematicians came up with something known as the order of operations. There are 4 steps. You do whatever's in parentheses first, then you take care of any exponents, then any multiplication and division you do from left to right, and finally any addition and subtraction you do from left to right. I say it like this instead of like this. Even though PEMDAS is easy to remember, it's sort of incorrect because it acts like there are 6 steps. But really, multiplication and division are their own step, and you do it from left to right. And addition and subtraction are their own step, and you do it from left to right. So in this first problem, all we have are the last step. So we go from left to right to do adding, which gives us 15. Bring down the minus 2. 15 minus 2 is 13. The order of operations tricks a lot of kids on problems like number 2 because, again, they see that there's subtraction and addition and they think, oh, addition comes first because PEMDAS. But addition and subtraction are actually the same step. You have to do it from left to right. So since this problem reads 12 minus 7 plus 6, we start with the minus 7. That equals 5. And now we bring down the plus 6, and we get 11. For number 3, now we have a new step in the order of operations that we're going to use. Still no parentheses or exponents, but we have multiplication. So we're going to start with 4 times 2 equals 8. And that little dot in between 4 and 2 is another symbol for multiply. I'm going to bring down the plus 10, and I get that this expression equals 18. Alright, for number 4, if you weren't using the order of operations, my guess is you did 8 plus 3 got 11, and then times 4 was 44. That would be incorrect, because we have to all follow this same order so that all of our expressions have the same answer. So again, none of the first 2 steps, but we need to multiply next, which gives us 12. Then we bring down the 8 in the addition sign, and that gives us 20. For number 5, this one also has multiplication and subtraction. You just can't really see it. And you have to remember that when you have a number touching the parentheses, there's basically an invisible multiplication symbol that you just have to know is there. So we're going to start with 3 times 6, which is 18. Bring down the minus 7, and that gives us 11. Alright, another weird one because of just notation. It's like a weird symbol. This 20 over 2, that's like 20 halves, but it's also like 20 divided by 2. So really, this problem has a division sign in it. It's sort of like 20 divided by 2, and then that whole thing minus 8. So in the order of operations, again, I just draw this to keep track, division is going to come before subtraction. So 20 divided by 2 equals 10. And then 10 minus 8, that equals 2. Thanks, Pika. Next problem. So we have parentheses, exponents, multiplication, and division. In this problem, we have just multiplication and subtraction. So I'm going to do all the multiplication first. So 4 times 3, it's like 4 groups of 3, which is 12. We have a minus sign. And then we have 4 times 2, which is 8. Subtracting those, we should get 4. Alright, this one's definitely, I'd say it's the trickiest one because you really have to follow the order correctly. Oh, and I didn't really mention this. So there are parentheses here, but normally that first step is whenever there's something to do inside parentheses. So like if the problem looked like this, then you would need to start inside the parentheses. There's nothing to do inside these parentheses, so that's not really, we haven't really actually seen the P step, the parentheses step. But we do have, in the same spot, we have multiplication. We have a 2 times 4. So multiplication is going to come before addition and subtraction. So we're going to start by doing 2 times 4 is 8. Then we're going to bring everything down. And we're done with that step. And now for the final step, we're going to do addition and subtraction, but again from left to right. So we're going to do 10 minus 8 is 2. Bring down the plus 6. And we get our final answer of 8. For this very last one on the front, there are a bunch of invisible multiplication symbols that you're supposed to know are there because the parentheses are touching. So I'm going to do this from left to right, but it's actually interesting because you can switch up this order. 2 times 4 is 8. I'm going to bring down the 3, and I know we're still multiplying, so you should get 24. Alright, this is the third week that I've had you guys reviewing mean, median, mode, and range. I'm definitely going to put these on a quiz to make sure sometime soon that you're getting the hang of them. Remember that each one of these tells you the average or the normal number in a set of numbers, so data. So here, to find the mean, what we need to do is we need to add up every number here. So 10 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4. If you end up adding all those numbers up, you should get 64. To find the mean, then you take that total and you divide it by however many numbers there are in the data set. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 64 divided by 8 equals 8. So that's why the mean here is 8. The median would be found by figuring out whatever's in the middle of the data set. But we don't just care, we don't like look in the middle right here, because we want to find the center when all the numbers are in order from smallest to largest. That way the center is actually the center of the numbers. So first we need to take these numbers and put them in order. I see that we have a bunch of 4s. 1, 2, 3. And then we have a 6. The next biggest one is a 10. And then we have 2 12s. Oh, one more number. We also have a 14. Okay, so now I want to find the center. So I'm going to kind of chop off the ends a pair at a time. So get rid of those, get rid of those, get rid of those. And now we have this interesting thing happening. And again, I don't think that you guys learned this last year. In the middle, we have 2 numbers, but since we're looking for the exact center, we actually have to figure out whatever would be in the middle of those 2 numbers. So in the middle of 6 and 10, the exact midpoint would actually be 8, because 8 is exactly 2 away from 6 and exactly 2 away from 10. So that's why in this problem, the median is 8. I hope that made sense. The mode is always whatever number shows up the most. And if I look here, I see that we have a 4, a 4, and a 4. No other number shows up 3 times, so 4 is the mode. And then finally, the range is whatever the largest number or the maximum is, subtracted by whatever the smallest number is, or the minimum. And in this case, I see that we have a 14, that's the max, and we have a 4. So that's why the range is 10. Alright, and to kind of finish this off, you're coming up with your own expressions that equal 10. And remember that when you evaluate your own expressions, you have to follow the order of operations. So 5 plus 7 is 12, minus 2 is 10. So this is one such expression. It'll be very interesting to see what you come up with. Bonus points for exponents, interesting use of multiplication, really long expressions. If you use any negatives and integers, that would be cool. We'll just sort of see what you come up with. And I have to say, out of all the videos, this one was definitely I feel the safest. My laptop didn't try to attack me with these ghosts or anything. It was just kind of like this cute Pikachu. Pikachu, what do you think about that? Oh my God. Pika, you didn't. Is that Mr. Rivera? Did you? Oh God. Okay, bye guys.